I'm 99 years old, been breathing a long time, seen a lot of changes, loved a good man for most of it. My husband James passed 8 years ago after we spent 62 years together, and I need to tell you something that folks don't really want to hear. You probably married the wrong person. And honey, that's okay. Let me explain before you shut me down, because what I'm about to tell you is the only reason we made it all these decades. It's the opposite of what you've been fed about love and marriage and finding your soulmate.
When I was 25, I married James. He was tall, had eyes that could make you forget your own name, a steady job at the steel mill, could make the whole room laugh without even trying. My girlfriends said I was blessed. My mother hugged me so tight at that wedding I thought my ribs might crack. I thought I'd found him, the one I was supposed to spend my life with. By year 3, I wasn't sure anymore. He tracked every penny we spent while I wanted to buy nice things for our home. He wanted us out every weekend with his brothers while I wanted quiet Sundays. He made decisions about how we raised our son without asking my opinion. We fought about his family, my family, his habits, my expectations. We fought about things so petty I can't even recall them now, but Lord, they felt like mountains then. I thought I'd made a terrible mistake, that this isn't what marriage was supposed to feel like. I must have married the wrong man. I was 28, had a 3-year-old son, and I was at church sitting next to Sister Ruth, who'd been married for 35 years. I told her I was struggling, that maybe James and I weren't meant for each other. I waited for her to tell me I deserved better, that I should leave, that there was someone else out there. Instead, she turned to me, took my hand, and said something I never forgot. She said, "Baby, we all married the wrong man. The trick is deciding to make him the right man anyway." I didn't understand her, not then. But here's what I understand now, 70 years later. The person you marry is not the person you stay married to. They can't be, because people transform. You transform. Life shapes you both in ways you can't possibly imagine on your wedding day. The James that was married at 25 is not the James that was buried at 87. James at 35 was driven and fierce and always reaching for something bigger. He was building, always building. James at 55 was weary, carrying the weight of a lifetime of work, and there was distance between us like fog. James at 70 was gentle, started writing poetry of all things, held my hand everywhere we went. James at 85 was like a child in some ways, needed me to button his shirts and remind him who I was some mornings. Which one did I marry? All of them. None of them. And I changed too. I was quiet and careful at 25, afraid of taking up too much space. I was fierce at 40, speaking my mind, running our household and helping other women in the church. I was broken at 53 when my father passed, and the grief nearly swallowed me whole. I was strong at 65 in ways I never knew existed. I was scared at 74 when the doctors found something wrong, when I thought my time was running out. If the James that I married at 25 had met me at 53, he wouldn't have known me. We might have been strangers. We might not have chosen each other. But we didn't have that choice. We grew together, even when we were growing in completely different directions, especially then. Here's what nobody tells you about marriage. It's not about finding someone who fills your emptiness. That's a lie that destroys more marriages than anything else. It's about finding someone you're willing to keep choosing, over and over, even when they're difficult, even when they irritate you, even when you wonder if you made a mistake. There were seasons I didn't like James much. I'm being truthful with you. There were months where I couldn't wait for him to go fishing with his friends just so I could breathe. There were nights we argued so hard I slept in our daughter's old room and imagined what my life would look like if I were alone. I thought about it. I considered it. But I never stopped choosing him. Not because I'm some saint, not because it was easy or romantic, but because I decided that's what marriage meant. I decided our life together was worth more than my temporary anger or hurt. And something shifted. The things that made me want to scream at 30 became things I found beautiful at 60. His quietness, which I used to think meant he didn't care about me, I realized was just how his mind worked. He wasn't shutting me out. He was thinking, processing, understanding. Once I knew that, everything changed. The way he spent money, which frustrated me for decades, I eventually understood came from his childhood, from growing up with nothing, from parents who struggled. He wasn't being reckless. He was proving to himself he'd survived, he'd made it, he was safe. When I understood that, I stopped fighting him and started holding him. Marriage isn't 50-50. That's another lie we tell ourselves. Some years it's 80-20. Some years it's 90-10. There was a whole year after my surgery where James did everything. Cooked meals that tasted like love, cleaned, helped me move through our house, helped me in ways I won't detail, and I couldn't give him anything but my presence and my gratitude. And he never asked me for anything in return. And there were years where I carried us. When he lost his job at 56, when he fell into a darkness I couldn't reach no matter how hard I tried, when his sister died and he couldn't get out of bed for weeks, I held us together because that's what partnership means. You don't keep score. The moment you start counting who's doing more, who's sacrificing more, you've already lost. I watch young people now and they expect their partner to be everything. Best friend, therapist, adventure companion, co-parent, financial equal, intellectual peer, perfect lover, all the time, forever, without fail. Nobody on this earth can be all those things. Nobody. James wasn't my best friend. My best friend was my sister. James didn't read like I did. I was always lost in books while he understood machines and engines the way I understood poetry. We didn't want the same things from life most of the time. But he was my partner, and that was enough. More than enough. I'm 99 now. James has been gone for 8 years, and I miss him every single day. Not because he was perfect, Lord knows he wasn't, but because he was mine, and I was his. We built something from nothing. We raised children. We survived layoffs and hospital visits and burying people we loved. We laughed until tears ran down our faces and cried until we found reasons to laugh again. Did I marry the right person? I don't think that question is worth asking. I married a person, and then we both decided again and again to make it right. If you're in a marriage right now and you're wondering if you made a mistake, here's what I need you to know. You probably did. We all did. Marriage is a mistake you make on purpose, and then you work harder than you've ever worked at anything to make it the best mistake of your life. The question isn't whether you married the right person. The question is, are you willing to keep choosing this person, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard? because love isn't a feeling that washes over you. Love is a choice you make every single morning when you wake up next to someone who snores or forgets things or hurts your feelings or disappoints you. Love is a choice you make every evening when you could leave, but you stay. I chose James for 62 years, and if I could, I'd choose him for 62 more.